Hi, it's me. Today I'm going to talk about why I prefer to use the Cricut Design Space desktop app versus the Cricut Design Space mobile or tablet app. For reference, I am using the Design Space mobile app on my Galaxy Z Fold, so I do have a little bit of a bigger screen. So the first reason why I don't like using the mobile app or why I don't prefer to use it is because the screen is a lot smaller. So because the screen is a lot smaller, it causes some menu items to be condensed in a weird way. So that takes me to point number 2. They have this actions and an edit menu. And sometimes it's really hard to determine what's under the actions menu versus what's under the edits menu. And I guess that's because everything in my head is edit. And it's really confusing to determine what is an action versus an edit because it's not very clear, in my opinion. So the next thing I wanted to do when I edited this card was I wanted to take certain parts or certain colors and switch them to that gold color. So this is my complaint about the color sync option in the mobile app. So in the mobile app, you have to take each individual object and drag it under yellow. Whereas in the desktop app, I could have taken a group of pink, a group of gray, and then dropped them under yellow, and I would have been done. Those precious seconds mean so much to me. Also, number 4, why do we have to cover the whole screen when we're just changing a color? There are other features within this video that do that same thing. You'll see them. So the next thing is text. So this is number 5. So I wanted to take this text and I accidentally created a duplicate of it because I hit the text button, thinking I could edit the text that way because that's what most apps do. So it took me a while to figure out between action and edit where to delete this extra text box when I know that if I'm on the desktop app, I could have just hit the delete key. So now I want to change my font to the varsity font. So I go into fonts and then I select varsity and then you'll see that I pause for a bit. And the reason why I paused is because I'm not sure if the changes were made. They were, and I know that happens in the desktop app, but it's more annoying in the mobile app. So this takes me to point number 6. When I open up the layers panel, it tends to zoom out of the design. It actually doesn't tend to, it does. So you zoom out of your design and it makes it harder to see what you have selected in the layers panel. So when you close the layers panel, it doesn't automatically zoom back in. So you'll see throughout this video as I'm opening up certain panels, it zooms out, and whenever I zoom in, I'm actually zooming in with my 2 little fingers so that I could see what I have selected. So yeah, I wish it didn't do that. I wish that it just kind of left it where it was. So now that I figured out that I wanted to change my colors, you'll see that it's taking me a really long time just to change the colors. And that's because when you select the group, you have to unselect something in order to select the one that you want. And it's a little bit confusing. And I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's like if I click the whole group, you have to unselect what you don't want. So that's why I'm going back and forth. It's a little bit different than what your average user is used to doing. That's why in this video, you're seeing me go back and forth. It's because I kept doing the wrong thing. As a side note, the only editing I did on this video is my voiceover. So all this clicking stuff, it's happening not sped up. It's real time. One thing I do really like about the mobile app is that little rotating icon. It makes it really easy to rotate objects on the screen. So one up on you, mobile app, I actually really like that piece. It makes it easier to rotate instead of having to look for the little handles. So point number 8, I think is where I'm at, is where are the handles? I wanted to take this 2024 and resize it, but I was having a really hard time activating the handles. So you see that I had to zoom in really, really close in order to see the handles on those fonts. For that word. So there might be something in the programming or the code that says, oh, they need to be zoomed in. The size of the object relative to the zooming in of the screen needs to be a certain way. I think it should be increased. But I guess it's not that bad. I'm just being petty. So now in my project, I duplicated the 2024 so that I could write the word congrats in the same font and in the same color. So the first thing I did was I went into the layers area and I wanted to hide what I didn't want to see. And then as you can see, I actually picked the wrong 2024. I picked the other 2024. So I have to go back into the layers panel and do the right one. So I showed this again. So my 2024 is good. And then I hide the yellow on the second 2024. Now here's where things get weird about the text. So this is peeve number 9. I'm gonna go in and double click it, delete everything, and then type in the text. You know something weird? It didn't retain my formatting. And that's so annoying because now I gotta go back in and struggle with the layers to recolor them. So later I did test this out in the Design Space Desk app to make sure that it retained the formatting, and it did. So anyways, here I am going back in and recoloring them with the design shrinking and me having to blow it back up again and to make sure I have the right thing selected. And I went through that whole process again for the word congrats. And I can't remember what color I picked. I think I wanted it to be a different color than the 2024, so I can't remember if I made it white first and then made it yellow, or I did something. I didn't cut this card yet, so yeah. Okay, so there it is. It's white and I'm looking at it and I don't know. I think at this point I decide I want it to be yellow. So I go back in and I go back to edit the color, and there it is. It's yellow. All right, cool. So there it is. It's yellow. And now let's move on to the next part. So as part of my card design, because it's a graduation card, I just wanted to put in a graduation cap in there somewhere to decorate it more. So I picked the easiest graduation cap that I could find with looked like it had multiple layers. So I picked this guy right here. So this one, when you look at it, you see 2 layers. You see a black layer and then you see a gray layer. So I wanted to take a closer look at this layer or at this graphic. And when you see it, you see the black is skinny little lines and the gray is gray and big. So I wanted to hide the contour of those gray things or I'm sorry, the black item so that I could make it solid so it's easier to glue later. So I go in here and I select the layer. I go into actions and then I hide all the contours. So that way the black lines will just be one big solid piece that I could glue the gray on top of. So as soon as I did that, you see that we don't see the gray piece because the black piece is actually in front of it. So what I need to do is take the black piece and move it behind the gray piece. But before I do that, I want to change the black to yellow because I didn't want black on black, which by the way I love, but not for the purposes of this card. So now I want to take that yellow piece and move it behind the gray piece, which brings me to point number 10. Reordering things in the layers panel is not as easy as it is in the desktop app because you can't reorder things in the layers panel on the mobile app. I kind of wish that they had those 3 little bar things or the arrow things to the left or right of the layer so that I could just slide and reorder them. But instead, what we need to do is to find the arrange option. So the arrange option is where you send things forward and backwards. I didn't find it under actions, but when I clicked on edits, I did find the arrange. And arrange, you could send things to the front, bring it forward, send it to the back, bring it backwards. And then once I did that, I was able to arrange it, and there's the gray on top. Yay! All I have to do is recolor the gray to black, resize it, and then cut it. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for watching this video. I hope that you learned something. If you have any Cricut mobile app woes, please comment down below because maybe the Cricut development team will see this and make some updates to their app so that it becomes more user-friendly. I will say that I do not hate the Cricut Design Space mobile app. I do appreciate that they try to make this app more robust. I just wish that it were more user-friendly. I find that I only use this when I'm on the go or if I need to cut something really quick. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Take care. Bye.